Hello everyone, we're back with more MoteMancer. As I threatened slash promised in the last episode, I just let the factory run at its current glacial pace until the life research stuff I was working on was done, because I just didn't have the heart to try to improve throughput before getting abundant, I guess is the word I'm looking for, abundant solar power. So I ended up getting not only Mana Canopy, but then I let it run until Daycaller was going, because why not? I was just watching YouTube and every so often checking into biorhythm stuff. And I did a couple of other cleanup things, like this. The entropy's actually been spreading more. It wasn't finished spreading, and so this area down here needed a little bit of work. I had to move the elemental binder over here because this is still the only thing I have making streamways, and eventually they would run out. So I also added a little Streamway Delta maker down here. Although, I guess I did it wrong. Where are my Streamway Deltas? There's... No, it did work, because I picked up a bunch of Streamway Deltas from here, but I guess somewhere it's not refilling when it needs to. Some ingredient is missing. I'm not sure what. There's saltways here. It doesn't have streamways. You're supposed to... No, it has streamways. It doesn't have saltways, but they're supposed to go right there. Okay, there... Oh, this got confused. Some saltways were put into it accidentally as inputs, so it stopped building. What would cause that? Where are your inputs coming? Oh, this. I see. Your output gets dropped here and then picked up here again. Very funny. Well, given how spaghetti everything is, I don't actually have a good way to avoid that problem, do I? It's because of these stupid air grippers. If I want it taking this input tile, it has to take this. Anywhere else I could conveniently fit one that would go to this general neighborhood? Not really. I mean, I could work it out all the way over here, right? That's no problem. It's just messy. It requires another mana flare. I mean, I guess that's the answer. So instead of this... Okay. Now, why are you not... You have elemental water. You should... Oh, did this get reversed somehow? No. What's going on? Why are you not taking in saltways? They're right here. Now, obviously that's not an input tile for you, but there's also... Oh, it's because this is empty. That's why. If this fills up, this will fill up. All right. So I just need... Let's see. Like this. Atrocity. You're still not going. Nobody's giving you any salt anymore? Oh. Oh! Maybe it was all fine. It was. This would never... No, it would take in salt. Okay, but I don't want it to. I didn't... when I did this... rerouting. I didn't put it back in place, so there's no... there's supposed to be salt right here. I see. So, okay, I came in here and tried to add some features, and as a result broke the factory, as one does, I suppose. It worked briefly, but not permanently, apparently. Yeah, I guess I need one there. But with production of leaves online and not being sucked up by research, I should be able to, like, make enough canopies to be happy with doing actual automated power and then rooting everything up. I mean, there's still, like, a lot of hurdles in getting it all automated to scale, right? I'm gonna have to make a zillion roots, and I don't have chests, so I'm not quite sure what the best way is to have a kind of mall when I can't just, like, have a chest with 300 streamways, right? Or 300 roots or whatever. I guess the answer is sort of like... hello, you're dead now. That this stuff is, I guess it's still doing something. I don't even know where the mana flares were supposed to be anymore. Is that a good one? Are these good? Probably fine. Yeah, and I had to move the collectors that were feeding water because this area got overrun. What was I saying? Build a mall, build a mall. Roots. Yeah, I can't have like 300, a single chest that just has a big pile of a thing. So like I can have a buffer of like 500 roots in, or sorry, 50 roots in a structure, the structure that produces roots, which is a greenhouse. And I could have like 6 greenhouses lined up, even if I don't need the throughput, just so I have some buffering, or I could build like I do here, right? There's a million life prisms, which I did sort of want for throughput at some point, I guess. But I only have one thing making roots. That's you. If I wanted a sort of mall equivalent able to pick up a bunch, I could just put down like 5 greenhouses next to each other, for example. Treat them as expensive chests. It seems kind of lame, but you could do that. The other thing you could do that I think is kind of funny is just like blueprint a big spiral of streamways like this. Oh, come on. It's so hard to draw straight lines, right? Like, this is a big chest, right? It's a very space inefficient and ingredient inefficient chest. But there it is, right? I kind of like this idea. I also obviously hate this idea, but is it Control B? Yeah. I mean, let's blueprint this. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but like, you know, this is, I don't know, you could store 150-ish items in here somewhere, roughly, if I had to guess. Water chest is what this bad boy is called. No, I have to hit... I still have another UI for this stuff. Save. Okay, water. Why is it so hard to, like, the order you click stuff in is so important. Like, why can't I hit save and then type water chest or something? Or, like, once I type here, it's automatically saved. Or, like, you know, if there's one in my hand, I probably want to save it. Anyway. The other thing is, though, that really it would be nice to graduate to planar reliquaries, right? This is a sort of chest equivalent that doesn't require any elements at all, but only works for like a mall, right? Because it goes into effectively your inventory. I'd love to have a bunch of these. I swept up some entropy while I was doodling around waiting for research. But instead of picking up seismic flare, I just wanted to go see what's going on with this Athenor thing. Like what it is that it's able to do. And the answer is like nothing I really care about. I forget. This is like... Well, no, one of these sucks up nearby entropy, right? Not this one, but the other. So this is the entropy building machine. It can build spindles, which, like, all this stuff I don't have. All the stuff I haven't researched, but... You know, whatever. But then there's also the alembic. This is the one that kind of harvests entropy in a radius, but instead of adding it to your entropy research pile, it gives you back entropic shards, which are like the fuel that entropy buildings need to build stuff. I'm not like totally clear on it, but like, yeah, like, you know, if you want to build more of this stuff, you need entropic shards, which I don't really want to build them. Transmutation engines, I do kind of want, but we don't have that research, and I don't want it that badly. Like, it's down here, right? It lets you transfer prisms between each other, I guess. And the refractory lets you make salt prisms, that's right, from opposing modes, which are sort of hard to get. But I'd rather go up here and get some planar reliquaries and like planar bridge life, so I don't have to solve the power network problem ever again. So this is the part of the entropy tree that excites me. I'd like to go up there next. I'm not in a hurry to do it, but anyway, just wanted to point out I did do some entropy stuff. So this would be another way to solve the chest problem. And it's the way I like long term, but short term I do find this very funny. And you can pick stuff up off of streamways, right, like that. There's an upgrade in water to have Riptide do that for you somewhere. I mean, no idea. It's in here somewhere. Whirlpool? Nope. Or maybe Riptide just does that. Oh, it does. It just gathers ingredients from streamways. So if I had Riptide on and I wanted some salt or something, or actually, you know what I want? I want like leaves and mana leaves, right? Give me this shit. Doesn't work. Great. Do I have to press Z? It is enabled. Got it. Okay. So that's kind of cool, but not immediately important. Why am I carrying out all this elemental air? Oh, you're in the entropy now? Really? Oh, that's so lame. This is new babysitting I'll have to start doing until I get water research going, which is going to be a while. Okay. Good to know. Did you run out? You did. It looks like I failed to get one of these. Why is that rotating? That was weird. Okay. But it looked like Biorhythm put a mote there once the mana flare disintegrated. Okay, so we want to build some canopies and some leaves, and the number of these things of canopies anyway that you need is sufficiently small that just building them, like, 9 is enormous. You just don't... I'll build that many, but, like, that's more than I'm going to need for a long time, probably. Leaves are really the... well, mana leaves, specifically, are the... Oh, it's finally been added. You can hold F. You didn't used to be able to do this. Okay, great. Okay, I've stopped holding F. Hello? Oh, I see. I was done picking things up, but it still had a buffer of messages to show me. All right, sure. So this is like 100 leaves and 10 canopies. That's so much power. So with this, solar power should be pretty much a solved problem. And in my inventory's full, by the way. In my first playthrough, I don't know. These entropic shards I'm not going to use them for a long time, I guess. Don't need to hoard them. In my first playthrough, I designed a kind of... the only thing I ever did for aesthetics in, like, the whole damn game was try to make the mana canopies and mana leaves look like a pretty flower. I don't remember exactly how I did it, and it doesn't really... Oh, this looks right. It was something like this, right? You build a hex of these, not like that. Like this? This still doesn't seem like either of these quite line up, and I feel like I would have noticed that before. Like, these two line up properly, but I guess across the horizontal line axis you can't actually do it. And, I mean, it ends up looking fine. Roots to connect it all. And then my fun little idea was to build little... to make this reminiscent of a flower. Or a plant, anyway, with little buds coming off of it. And I was very enamored of this idea. It's not like... That's fine, I guess. It's not the most efficient use of space. And it's a pain to make, but it made me happy when I did it in the past. This time, I'm just like, I want to get solar power actually going, thank you. So I'm not really going to do much of this. I'm just going to have, I guess, one of those as a monument to my history of sorts. And then lay these out in a grid like a sicko. Like a boring old fun hater. I just like, I don't know, I don't feel like I have much aesthetic sense. And it just tickled me pink in my first playthrough to do it. To do some to actually have thought of, oh, this could look like a flower. Wouldn't that be nice? But it did make it like a lot of work compared to just doing this. So we will not be doing that this time. Now, if we look at this network, we can see it's producing 4,000 solar power. And that's at dusk, basically. You know, is that more than I need? I don't remember. I'm sure 10,000 is enough. I think 4,000 is plenty. Certainly at the moment, I'm using, like, no solar power, so the answer is yes, obviously. How much does it do during the day, would you say? Okay, sun is back up. We're at full power, 7,700. That's plenty for this stage of the game. So now I have a network of, like, mana roots, right? I can now just start, anytime I want to power a new facility, I can just drag roots to it. And that's been my dream since, like, starting this cursed elementalist playthrough. And I mean, like, don't take me too seriously when I complain. This doesn't even sound like complaining. I don't think, but Maybe if you didn't know me, you might think it was. Oh, hey, you know what? All these leaves are on the network, so now we're at 12,000 power. Or 14,000. Just connecting these, multiplied by the existing mana canopies down there, increased production a lot. So, you know, we could throw in some extra leaves every so often. But anyway, like, I'm not all that good at factory games. I can get by, but I just don't have the, like, I don't know. Oh, by the way, this is starting to run dry, my salt. I just don't have, I don't know, the right discipline to figure something. I don't know. I enjoy the spaghetti. I enjoy dreaming big and building small. And so this Elementalist playthrough has felt like a bit of a struggle, which was the point. I wanted to, you know, work more with elements and less with salt, and it's working. But anyway, I call it a cursed playthrough because it has been, like, a lot of feeling like I wasn't doing enough. And now I finally have access to basically unlimited solar power, which is nice. Interesting that the entropy has not spread back over here. I thought it re-encroached pretty fast, but I guess not that fast. So, like, I need to start retrofitting what I have now to use blooms, or I need to just rebuild everything from scratch, which doesn't sound like a great time. I mean, I guess, like, on the one hand, what is all of this doing? The answer is it's basically just making mana leaves, which I don't need anymore. And making mana roots, which I kind of do. Speaking of, what does it take to make a bloom? Life and roots. They're made in greenhouses. I don't have any elemental life, huh? Here it is. Okay. Could I squeeze something in here that, I think so. I think I could put something in here to make blooms, right? Maybe not quite like that. Here, take all this away. Sneak in a building, and then place this around it. Run that in as well. And there you go. Blooms. If I were to power it, which is what I'm doing now. So now, I don't have burrow roots yet, so it's a little bit hard to get power everywhere, especially around corners in streamways. All right, let me just make sure this is actually doing anything before I start figuring out how to route power to it. It's elemental life and roots. Yes, we're making blooms. Great. So these now are like the two main buildings that I really want to keep working in this whole area. And that means I need their inputs still working as well. But, like, my point is that the other stuff we're doing in here is not critical. This, don't need it. I have enough mana leaves to last me a long time. Roots and blooms to connect everything are what's important now. And I haven't made it easy to connect it all up because I was designing for mana flares, of course. So I think that's what today is all about. Retrofitting for life power, I guess I should say. Roots and blooms. And then I want to scale up my production of water. I think water. Because, like, yeah. The next kind of big things that I want are all water-based one way or another. They're either in the water tree or the hybrid elements, all of which require water, right? If I want, like, verdant streams, I need a bunch of water. If I decide I want, I don't know... Does any of this matter? Oh, yeah, cloud spring fountains. Those are pretty cool. That requires entropy as well, huh? Interesting. Do all the hybrid researches have that now? They do. Huh. Maybe to kind of stop you from getting it on your first plane? If you don't have nascent entropy enabled? Could be. But water. I just want to scale up my production of elemental water so I can do all the water research. Now, there are some places where it's very easy to get power, right? Just, like, do this. To retrofit power. I can just, like, plop this down and... plop this down and... connect Aruum up, and, like, this is now powered. I could rip out these mana things. Although, we're actually going to find that they're not powered because it's nighttime. But I can fix that, of course, to demonstrate that, indeed, solar power is now working during the day. Which is when solar power famously works. Oh, I missed you? I need more blooms? Are you kidding? I can't... The blooms I have is not enough? I can't quite do this with 2? Alright, fine. But, like, how do I get power here without burrow roots? I've got buildings in the way of everything. I can't go around buildings. You know? Why are you not powered? Your mana flare must have fallen off and I didn't notice and repair it. It's fine. I'm not using these buildings, really. Oh, and I'm not going to have burrow roots. I'm not on life. I can't get Earth life hybrid tech at all. Huh. Well, that is kind of awkward, actually. Because burrow roots are... Well, okay, I guess verdant streams are the next thing, then, maybe. Because that would really, oh my god, if I had verdant streams going, I could make all this connect up so well. I mean, I don't know. Do I just abandon this whole life sub-factory and say, I did it. I made 200 mana leaves. That's all I ever wanted out of life. Maybe. And the thing is, of course, it's not all I want out of life, right? I want a bunch of elemental life to go into making, like, verdant streams. Which I assume that's the main thing they... Well, no, to go into making coralite, which is going to be an ingredient needed for verdant streams. And I'm going to need life prisms to research this stuff. Yeah. So this is what comes of not designing for blooms at all. I mean, now that I have roots and blooms, I could tear a lot of this down and rebuild it somewhat easily. The thing is, it's not easy because it's like, it sucks so much in this game to destroy structures. Because you put this garbage in your inventory. There's no way to say, like, look, just delete this. I don't want the stuff in it. Throw it in the garbage. You have to, like, right-click. Oh, your inventory's full. Middle-click, middle-click, middle-click. Right click, right click, right click, middle click, right? It's just a pain. And I'm just looking at 500 salt just sitting here mocking me. And a bunch of elemental, or motes of water as well. Wait, you're not connected. Oh yeah, I was like, oh, I'll cover that with this, but then I realized I just... Well, okay, I guess there is a way to get some down here. If I move this streamway delta up a bit... Nope, that doesn't help. Great, okay. I guess it was like here? Something like that. Yeah, I think like that. The problem is that there's no... In order to cross over routes and a streamway, you need a section of streamway that you can replace with an underground streamway, right? But this is all actively being used. Plus, there's not even a one tile wide gap. So, and similarly down here. And I just made... If I had put this mana bloom builder in here... I forgot the stack size on these is only 20. Then I could sneak a route through and light up some of this area, but not a lot of it. It really is way too compact and not bloom friendly, or just roots in general. So I might just leave it for a while, figure out what to do later, and go on a quest. Let's get some more water. Lots and lots of water. With air to provide the ether to bind it. Yeah. So... Oh, is this stuff connected to anything? No, I didn't connect it to the main route network. Not that it really matters, because if the whole rest of this factory shuts down, keeping that little tiny patch of life mining is not going to matter, but, you know, now it's all connected. Isn't that nice? There you go, more leaves on the... And now we're at less power than I had before? I thought I had 17,000. I must be mistaken. But anyway, I can now run this. It's mostly, I guess I want to go east from here. I'm already running short on roots. You need so many roots. So this is why a planar reliquary for, you know, like roots and streamways would be really nice, because you just need so many of both of those. And having to run back to base to resupply is a nuisance. You could probably make do with fewer routes if you didn't insist on central power, but I don't want to keep having to set up power distribution. I love just having a big number and then connecting every new thing to the big number. By the way, my collectors, I do have some. Okay, so let's... Could we build a little blueprint here that collects from a patch reasonably efficiently? Like, what I often do is just line, flipped line, and so on, right? But I've seen people do clever things with, like, undergrounds, where you can kind of pack stuff more tightly. For example, you could do this. I don't know if this is, you know, part of an actual efficient design, but now all three of these are very close to each other, and they're all actually outputting motes that are getting out. But I don't know, like, these collectors are so small that, I mean, like, does this make any sense to do this? Like, to build these little triangular clusters? Maybe it does. I don't know. Let's try it, I guess. And we'll see if I, as a result of this design, manage to fit more collectors than I usually do on a mode field. Or if this is all just a false economy. Guess I want it like there? I need to make sure that I can have blooms covering all of this, I suppose. I did actually see... Okay, let me show you something cool. Am I actually in a position to do this? So one bloom in the middle pretty much covers the whole field. But you might ask, wait a minute, how do you get power to that bloom? I saw someone asked in the Discord, like, what's the deal with rampant bloom? It doesn't do anything. And I went and found, like, something in Post Your Builds that... and, you know, someone wanted to show off a build they had made of a mote patch. And, of course, it wasn't for simple collectors. It was for something else. But with rampant bloom... Normally, production buildings are connected to the root network only as consumers. That you can't pass through them. They're leaves, haha, in the graph, the tree. More a graph, I guess. Rampant bloom, you can see some of these are highlighted green. The one, production buildings directly adjacent to a mana bloom become an actual part of the root network and can pass power through them. Now... This is not transitive, so, like, this one isn't part of the root network. It's only a consumer, even though it's next to this guy. It's not next to actually a bloom. But you can, like, put another bloom up here, and now, or, well, I wouldn't put it here. I'd put it over here. But, like, now, power can get to this one from here, from this bloom to here, to this bloom, and that powers the whole field. So it's quite nice, actually, as a way to power a mote field. This design involves way more undergrounds than I would like. Not because it's expensive, it's just, like, not elegant. But, I don't know. I mean, I think... I want to see how good this is at producing... See, here I'm kind of building off the mote patch if I do that. I'll just do this and need fewer undergrounds and not block that at one end, I guess. You know, this kind of seems nice, doesn't it? So, how many of these did I end up getting? 4... It's so hard to count. 9, 13, 16, 20? Whereas normally I manage about 16. Right? So this is a bit better, I think. It requires fewer motes, and it's a nuisance to build, compared to the linear approach. But that doesn't matter because I'll be blueprinting it. Right, something like this. Connect you up and bring you around the other way for partly aesthetic purposes and partly for, whoops, lane balancing purposes. Are you connected to something? You are. You got up there. Okay. Okay. Now, I guess a small flaw in this design is that the place where it would be most convenient to place another bloom to power it is up here. But the root connection is no. What would be nice is if this could be conveniently placed at the end of kind of a transmission line that transmits both roots and streams, right? So what I want is to I want to put the bloom that powers everything here. That's fine. That's cool and all. Actually, it has to be here, so it touches this one. You can see now that even with biorhythm off, of course, none of it is powered. But it's all in the same power network. So if I can power this bloom, it will be powered. But so I want, actually, for the streams to go out the same direction, I think. So, okay, I should have thought about that before I laid it all out, of course. Let's say this much on each side. And you all want to go that way now. And join up. Like that. Now, I haven't left myself any space for the stupid roots. I guess I end up needing something like that for the roots to get in. Kind of annoying, but there. And so that, kind of is, it's very clunky, but it sort of meets my design constraints, right? It fits a lot of cluster collectors. It's powered by just 2 blooms, which isn't super important, but is nice. It's roughly lane balanced, and the root input and the mote output are on the same end, which I like. Now, at the moment, that's the wrong end for this particular one that I'm building, but that's fine. Sort of. Oh god, I'm gonna have to pick all this up again and then re-blueprint it, aren't I? Okay, so let's blueprint this. Great. And now I want to tear it all down. But there's so many motes! Okay, I don't have to tear it down. I'll just have this one be built the wrong way around. It's fine. It's going to waste a few streamways in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't really matter. So there's that. Oh my god, I've already cut this thing off. I hate this game. Okay. Turns out I didn't even need that underground for this design anyway. Good. And indeed, it all boots up. And we have a ton of motes of air. Now, what do I want to do with these motes of air? I want to grind them up and never look at them again, of course. Like that. But giving me ether in the end. So I should have kept those. Because I need them to make my grindstones. So if we said this was, what, 19 or 20? I think 20? Yes, I know. You don't like when it's dark outside. Oh, that's a sort of unpleasant UI thing. I get that it can't do day color because I'm handcrafting at the moment, but it shouldn't make this sound. It should just say you can't do this, or stop crafting to cast day color, or stop, right? Like something. Okay, but if this was about 20... Don't I need just 10 grindstones still? It feels like I should need more. But I already have a blueprint for 10 grindstones. I'm almost out of streamways here. Oh, but I don't want to use this blueprint. It's powered by mana flares. I need a new blueprint. Right. Right. Okay, well, before you guys get too carried away, let me just slurp up all this ether, I guess. I'm surprised there was that much air just sitting around. I didn't have this built for very long. I guess streamways do transfer a lot of items at a time. Oh, and I guess these were kind of backed up. They couldn't produce output for a while because this streamway was full. That's why the ones at the bottom are taking so long to empty. Okay. So I don't want this after all. What I want is a new design, and that's the whole fun part of the game. Like, I played this game for, I don't know, 60 hours last year at least. And I've played for maybe around 10 this year, right? It's about how long this playlist is right now, I think. And I don't think I've ever been in a situation where the tools that I currently have available to me are exactly the set of tools. Right? Like, I have life power, air grippers, grindstones. Right? Like, I don't think I've solved that problem before. Made a nice blueprint for that. And like, I don't have earth, right? So I can't use rooted grippers or burrow roots or whatever. So that's I've said it many times. I'll say it again. That's what I love about MoteMancer. There's always a new puzzle, a layout puzzle, because everything is shaped weird, and you always have new sets of tools available to you as you progress. And sometimes because you're gaining tools, sometimes because you've moved planes and you've lost tools. So what would I imagine this would look like? Well, let's just have a scratch pad over here. This is kind of the core thing air grippers do, right? Is, you know, something like this. This is kind of a really nice starting point for grindstones with air grippers. And so figure out how to power this in a convenient way, and you're pretty much there. Now, of course, I could take the old grindstone array and just like run run mana blooms parallel to it. That would have worked, but it's not elegant, you know? Another thing I could do is I could just say, I'll put a mana bloom here and a mana bloom here, and then I'll tile this. But I've now made it like twice as much space. Half of the space in this area is consumed by power management. Feels very bad. So what I'd like is to be able to do it with roots, if possible. It does not seem possible without, like... Because, okay, let's say maybe... Like, if I want this to be powered by roots... Maybe I can fit roots here and here or something, right? That's all lovely. But how do I get power from this root to this root? You know, do I have another lane of roots up here? Somehow? Like, you could do this, and then have roots break in this way and this way. But then the next... You can't tile as nicely. It's maybe not that bad, though, is it? Where am I? Here? That's not bad, actually. It means you need an underground for every grindstone, which is kind of ridiculously expensive given how undergrounds cost so much. I mean, right? Total raw is like 70 motes for a single underground. What is it for rampant blooms? Or for mana blooms? Are you saying 2.4? Oh, because they're produced in halves, I guess? In a way? Mana roots are produced in fifths, I see. So this is, what, 7 plus 16, 23? Yeah, so a mana bloom is much cheaper than an underground, actually, in terms of materials. Is that the right thing to be focused on? Maybe not. But, I mean, my factory right now is... Like, it doesn't work without me standing there, so it does matter that this is efficient. So maybe it is just... You know, bite the bullet, take up a little bit more space, and I could, like I said, Mana Bloom here, ta-da, we're done. But what if I did just take the old design and, like, put Mana Blooms along it regularly, right? I guess I can go ahead and paste that design, and it won't be such a problem because as long as I don't connect it to anything, I don't have to pick up a bunch of motes. I can just pick back up the stuff that was already in my inventory. Oh, that one, I never noticed the one at the end is curved. I see. So if I just, like, took Mana Blooms, like, it costs what? 1? I guess we discovered earlier it costs 3 because I can't quite get this thing down here. Right, if I were to connect these, there's one structure that's not, it's hard to tell, but this one is not touched by either of these. And if I move this at all to the right, then these won't be. So you need 3 Mana Blooms. I mean, that's a pretty small expenditure. And it's not an outrageous use of space. It's not like I need to put them down here and here. So it makes it wider, but not longer. For grindstone arrays, this is probably a reasonable approach, honestly. So I guess I'm going to make a new blueprint that doesn't have all the mana flares, but is powered by blooms. We need one here, and then here, and then, I mean, the next one would be like there, if we were going to keep extending this, I guess. So let's blueprint this. Grindstones. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just, I want to call it the same thing, grindstone array, but constrained for what I currently have. I guess I could put this under, like, life or something to indicate that it's powered by life, but I don't really have enough of these that I feel like I need folders yet. So, save. It's gone under new blueprint. What is wrong with you? I just don't understand. Delete. Oh. I assumed red would be yes. I'm not sure. Because, like, it's dangerous. Right? Usually when they're asking you, are you sure you want to do something dangerous? The yes button is red. So I didn't even read the text. But yeah, red is cancel. Interesting. So, how do you... Okay. Save new blueprint. This one. It's not... it wasn't the right button. I don't know. Grindstones. Yes. Save. Save. Ah! Okay, so you have to hit save, and then go here and type this? Okay. Got it. So now delete all this, because it's oriented wrong, but it was... It would be nice to have Earth just so I could use Excavator to pick this stuff up faster. It was laid out like this so I could think about it without connecting it to motes, which makes it a much bigger mess to clean up at the end. Okay, so now we can say grindstones, please. Oh, I can delete this one as well. You, I will not delete. I will anoint you. Input is which side? It's impossible to tell. Okay, you know what? What we'll do is I'll put it down, and then I'll figure out which side is input, and I'll connect it accordingly. Yeah, that's a good enough radius to get everything. Okay, input is here, away from the blooms. I was like, what's your problem? Why aren't you working? It's nighttime. They don't like it at night. Okay. So, I want more ether than this, is the thing. This is only 5 per second. If I want a bunch of water, 5 per second is not going to cut it. Because I'm going to need the ether to make the water, but I'm also going to need the ether to, like, make other things that combine with the water, you know? Yeah, this entry field does not trouble me. Okay, 10,000, yeah, we're well... So it's actually consuming up to 2,000? That's more than I would have thought, given how few things I've connected. But okay, that's fine. So... I think then what I want to do... How are we on time, by the way? An hour. Is... Like, where's there another nearby source of ether? There isn't really, right? Well, there's some... Not very much. It's at 113,000, which it's so close to the shore, I don't really believe it. Because, like, that's how much this one has. And it's in the middle, like... It's actually all where it is. It's on land. Can I see it across here? Oh, actually, most of it does seem to be on shore. Okay. I know I found some of these where, like, the moat field is 4 patches that are on the shore, and the rest, like, doesn't exist because it's where the water is. That's kind of funny how this thing moves as we zoom in. Okay. Yeah, like this one, for example, has less water because it's on the shore. So I could take this life as well, I guess. Or, like, once I have torrential streamways, maybe I could go over here and just float it over. But I don't currently. I mean, this could be enough for what we have now, I guess, to start a new water factory for research purposes rather than for making streamway purposes. And that'll involve making a lot of streamways, but that won't be the ultimate goal. Like, what I just want is not exactly a bus, but, like, I want a streamway that is just producing nothing but ether. Another one that's producing nothing but motes of, elemental water. Right? One that's making salt, one that's making elemental life, one that's making elemental air. Like, those 5 basic components. Have a lot of them. Plug them into one factory that does all the research for this plane, right? That would be... the least spaghetti way to do things, I feel like. Because, like, let's say I mine all this up, and here there's 2 moat fields of water, so I could have one of them make salt, and the other one combine with ether up north to make water. That's fine, but I still need more ether to even have a balanced amount of, like, ether, water, and salt. which I kind of do want. I assume I need more of one than the other, but I need all of them. And ideally a lot of each. So... I don't know. What am I thinking? Well, I guess this is a good opportunity to test out our little goofy blueprint we made that just seems so gangly. Also, I can't look at what it's like on other planes. Okay. Does it look to anybody like a sleeping monster, right? It's like a skull with eyes, little Z's coming out of it. Just occurred to me this looks like a sleeping monster. Building so close to a portal is like a little bit unpleasant, but as long as you don't build close to the portal on the other side, the entropy transference isn't really going to matter. So, okay, let's look at what my... Oh my god, the new blueprint One of the things I deleted that was called new blueprint was actually the blueprint I made for this mining patch up here. Because I apparently did not understand how to use the naming facility. Okay. Well, this sucks. Because I want to not select the roots out of this, really, is what I think I want. You know, I want, like, this line here to be the southeast edge. You know, and you can't draw that. And I don't think you can edit blueprints the way you can in Factorio. I think you can. Maybe? I'm not sure. I know a while ago Cyan was talking about having, you know, in the same way that there's a research plane here you can go to, and like these are places you can walk around. They're kind of like a separate plane in a way. About having a mind palace for editing blueprints would be really cool. It doesn't seem like that exists yet. But one day. So, okay. Ugh. Save new blueprint. But I don't want all of this. Okay. I'm unplugging you. You'll be replugged momentarily. Okay. So if I just do this, is it going to get the other ends of those undergrounds? It is. Okay. So this I save. I take this and I say you are a mote patch. Great. And now I can plug you back in. So if I take this mote patch thing and I paste it on here, what exactly do I get? Well, it doesn't fit the shape of this patch exactly, but it's not horrible. It seems fine. Oh, actually, there's probably supposed to be an underground there, isn't there? Oh my god, look at that thing empty. It actually uses up power doing this. Nice. So I guess I learned something. One question I've had for a while is whether, like, mana flares have a fixed duration or a fixed amount of power that they can, you know, a fixed number of joules they can output. And it seems like some of both. Okay, I'm out of streamways. Yeah, I shouldn't have put this here. Where was it supposed to go? Anybody know? It must have been here. I guess I can run... Nope, I'm out of roots too. So this is why I need chests or planar reliquaries or something. Oh god, all of my mana flares have fallen into disrepair. I have a handful of roots here, but not ultimately all that many. It's like 50. I really need a better... I need a chest analog for these things or something. Actually, how many can I just make with the stuff on me? Basically none. Well, 60. And all the mana flares are gone. If I want to get this place going again, I pretty much... I either need to place a bunch of mana flares, but they're going to be gone the next time I come back here, for sure. Because I'm not going to be visiting that often. Streamways, at least, those go in a chest. I have that cheat left over from when it was still allowed, I guess. Which I choose not to regard as cheating. Because it was allowed, I thought, on purpose. And it was, at one time, on purpose. Even though, apparently, it's not what Elementalist currently is. So I can get a bunch of streamways. That's fine. But when I go back there won't be any ever. Well, okay, I'm building the new thing. Hopefully that'll be enough. This, though, is just awful. It's a field of ruin. I need lots of mana roots, and I can't have them, because all of this stuff is not powered by anything. Biorhythm is a quick fix, but not for the whole factory at once. And not once I leave, either. Oh, what a nightmare. So what actually goes into roots? That's the main thing I still want a lot of, right? Is roots. And roots are just not that complicated. They're saltways and mana roots. Sorry. Saltways and elemental life. I just read the text that came up when I did this instead of when I did this. And so I could build a separate thing for that. That is actually properly powered, right? Because the salt actually is powered. So I could just like have motes of life over here, which I could get power to. I mean, it's kind of messy, but these motes of life coming over here. I could run roots along here. That's not a problem. The problem is this kind of tightly packed interior. Is not easily powerable. But a small factory that just made roots and I guess maybe blooms? Although honestly I could make blooms by hand. Would be fine, right? I don't know. I need ether. I mean, okay, so how much of this could I easily plug in? Because I think that's what I should do here. I do rely on this part of the factory for the moment. see what's going on in there. Not enough mana. Oh, it's building roots. Sure. Inventory is full. Well, throw away all the motes. I'm always telling you, I don't want no stinking motes. Okay, so now it's sort of clear enough what's going on over here. If I could just get a bloom or two in this neighborhood, we'd be set for this mining area. And we could power at least some of the ether generation pretty easily as well. Right? Just do this. Now these, I mean, entropy is going to claim these, so I'll just reclaim the space for blooms, I guess. I think blooms work even if they're surrounded by entropy, as long as the things they're powering aren't. I'm not totally sure, though. So, I mean, this is not exactly powering everything. But good enough. So that's going, the ether production is going. So I have salt, ether, and life, right? Which is enough to make a small-scale root factory, which is all I really want. The rest of this, you know, maybe I'll want to resurrect it someday. Well, actually, I mean, I can get these powered back up. What are you supposed to do? You make prisms? Yeah. I guess, okay, maybe what I should do is just kind of admit that this is too much of a mess to just run power to it all, and so I should tear some of it down to make space for power and have a lower throughput, but that's okay because I was never meeting full throughput anyway. I don't have enough inputs. That seems appropriate, doesn't it? So, like, let's do this. I'm not sure how useful that is. I can't get power to cross over. I want to get power down here, which is quite difficult. I don't have enough like straight line segments really. Well, now I can actually get power down along this coastline. Which, combined with this, lets me get power to this array and then in here, I suppose. Even if it doesn't power the whole thing, it gets pretty close. What's your problem? Your gripper's backwards. Don't know when I made that mistake. You're not powered, and we're just going to unplug you as a result. Figuring out how to get power in there is too complicated. We're scaling down here on purpose. Not what you want to be doing in a factory game, but considering that what I have is not working at all, it seems like a fair compromise. Knock it off. This cheeky little son thinks it's okay to be nighttime. I don't think so. Not on my watch. This little run back is hilarious. Very funny. Can I squeeze a root in there? Yeah, if I also do this, I guess. Which, since I said I'm scaling down, like some of this needs to go. Don't need these altars anytime soon. Or this stuff I have just one of from a million years ago. Just get rid of all of it. I need more space for this surgery. Okay, but now... Any chance there's more roots over here? Yeah, a handful. Now I can at least power some of this. And by getting power in here, I've made it so that I can power more if I want, right? Like, is this one? Well, I was thinking I was going to plop a mana root down, a bloom that's adjacent to this, and make it part of the power network, but that doesn't actually work. You know what? Why don't you get back in there? I guess I can't really fit blooms in here, can I? Even though I could bring a power line down, I couldn't get it to connect to stuff. But... I guess even powering a tiny amount of this would probably be valuable, because I don't end up needing that much of the stuff that's being done here. And this is hopefully enough to keep... Like, you can see it hasn't even used up these salt prisms. They're just going to research and to this stuff, which is not turned on. So it's actually just this building left that is causing me trouble. Which I don't have an answer to. Yeah, you not being powered is very sad for you, I'm sure. The thing is, these grippers are placed so far apart, like, that I actually can just have this whole thing done with undergrounds if it is important to give me more space. Right? So I could do, like, this. And squeak that in. And suddenly this whole line of elemental life, except for you, which I could add, is actually all just working. And it's not that hard to get this part going again as well, if I want, which I do. Although I don't think it's actually necessary. That maybe was not the best place to do that. Well, I didn't have a lot of choices, did I? and that gets this all going as well. The leaves are being made. So really, the only thing left that I am not powering is the one thing I want, which is the roots. I have to get power here, but I mean, I don't know. I could move this, of course. I just sort of put it in. Yeah, I just don't even. It doesn't even have to exist. That's just making blooms. I can make those out of roots. It would be nice to have it, you know, handed to me on a silver platter, but it's not urgent. It's not important. Actually, no, I should have left that there. Okay, where were the inputs exactly? There? Yeah, that looks right. Because I can do this and get power in this way, because this last little bit isn't even doing anything. It's not plugged in. So I do actually have, barely, space to do this. I mean, it's not clear to me where the delta is going to come from. What if can I do this? Yeah. Well, no. Okay, we'll do it this way. Now I can smuggle power in through here. And I even get to put some blooms down on this area. It's not perfect. Actually, I can make it pretty close to perfect. I'm amazed by how much of this I could actually get powered with only a very small amount of ripping things out. Now, obviously, it's not beautiful. These blooms are just warts placed wherever with no thought for aesthetics. That's just a root, isn't it? Yeah, get out of here. But there's still a problem, which is that my roots are not really being saved up. And I guess I have a little prototype treasure chest over here, don't I? Any chance, any chance I could route some roots up to there? Would that be hilarious, or what? Oh yeah, look at this spaghetti, baby. Oh, you are gonna hate this, factory game lovers. Like you, maybe? Okay, yeah, it's nighttime, but... Okay. I did it. I have a chest of roots that is being fed at all times, as long as the sun is up. I think this hypnotic specter is a great place to end the episode. Really, I should have ended it like an hour ago. Oh, it's only been half an hour since I noticed it had been an hour. That's not as bad as I thought. So, I thought I was going to work today on getting water production up, but it turned out I just am not making enough roots to start being so ambitious in that direction. Oh, this isn't going yet. you guys aren't going. I see. This is powered, but your inputs aren't. And that's sort of fine in a way. Because I'm not actually... I don't need more leaves. But I don't know. May as well have them online in case I do need more mana leaves. Oh, are we only using one lane of this? No. How is it somehow... It seemed like for a minute there it was using the inner lane, but I guess it's just using the outer lane for some reason. Okay, I mean, that's fine too. We can just, like, insert, you know, world's stupidest balancer that does this. So it comes in on one of the 3 lanes sort of arbitrarily. I don't care if it, like, balances evenly. I just want it to be possible to get to either lane so that once this backs up... God, what a great thumbnail if I were the kind of guy who bothered to have a separate thumbnail for every video. Or, I don't know, maybe this is my mascot, my logo, just for my approach to games in general. What an awful chest. Alright, but roots we need a lot of, and look at this. I'm making a decent number of them sustainably and without manual intervention, I think. Oh, you never got powered, huh? That's fine. I mean, I'll want life prisms someday. But I can figure that out another day. And I think it wouldn't even be that hard, right? I could just make all of these into underground sections and sneak some power in like this. Let's do that, I guess. And even with only one of these, or I guess 2, running, I mean, that's fine-ish, right? These 2 aren't running, and that's just life. Inventory is full, by the way, in case you haven't heard the news. Alright, now we're ready to go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.